So you've already identified perhaps that housing policy that came out too late. Are there other things that are obvious to you and particularly Brian as well before you even undertake this review?
I think what we're picking up on very quickly is themes, and you don't have to look very far to see what those themes are. But at the same time, it's what influences, which one of those themes were actually the drivers as opposed to just, circumstantial. And that's what we'll pick up by doing the review and making sure that we cast the net wide enough to make sure that we pick up all of those perspectives and then narrow it down to those themes. So yes, we are seeing themes already.
What about the women issue? Not just perhaps women voters, but also attracting more women to join political parties like the Liberal and National Party. What do you think needs to be done there? Is it something drastic? And if it's not quotas, what is it?
Yeah, look, I've been talking about this, as have many of my colleagues, for years within the Liberal Party, the need to attract that next generation of talent coming through. Some of the best female politicians that we have had life experience outside of politics, and then when they come in, they can bring that experience to the table. And they really have made a genuine difference. Some of those women are, sadly, you look like a Celia Hammond or a Katie Allen, have lost their seats this time around. Yeah. And that's a real shame that we are losing that depth of talent and experience outside of politics. So what is it that we can do to attract the right women to politics and give them, a pathway forward that will be, sustainable and fulfilling as well, and that will, genuinely be an attractive alternative to the life that they lead outside of politics? This is a really tough game, and this election was one of the toughest, possibly one of the most vicious, I think, that I've ever seen fought. When you look at some of the, experiences, say, for instance, that Zoe Mackenzie had down in Flinders, having her car and corflutes defaced in the most vile ways, there is a certain kind of fortitude that is required in a lot of people. And I would understand that if you are a successful professional woman, why would you say, why would I subject myself to this? So
that's a good question, Jane.
There's an awful lot of barriers to getting.
Why would you? Yeah. Why did you?
Well, that's a good question. That's a very good question because, you want to step up and make a contribution. You feel like you have something to offer, but there are days where you go, is this all worth it? And so we have to make sure that we, create an environment where we say, look, there's some tough stuff that comes with this, but this is a very supportive and nurturing environment, and it's a real opportunity that, money can't buy this opportunity.
Is it though, Jane,
to give back to your country?
I mean, something that, like supportive and nurturing, they're not two words that I would take from watching Question Time, for example, or knowing what goes on behind the scenes sometimes. It's not a supportive and nurturing relationship most of the time, is it?
Well, I think I've said that myself. This isn't croquet. This is cage fighting, which means that it does take a sort of certain, an inner strength